Nathan Moore, chief surveyor for the Connecticut Land Company, was so impressed by the Canfield area that on May 15, 1800, he purchased 160 acres of land. Mr. Moore was the prime leader organizing the construction of a log schoolhouse for the children of the 11 pioneer families that settled in Canfield Township at the time.
This log cabin school was later used as a dwelling, and this district was served by the Mud School, which was built in the same area. The name was descriptive of the play area around the school.
They completed a new building in the summer of 1826. For over 90 years, this was known as the Turner Street School. By 1853, there were 10 such districts and 7 fractional districts in the township. Fractional districts had part of other townships in their school districts. Presently, a number of the former one-room school buildings are in good condition. One is being used as a dwelling and several for farm buildings.
The Union School building, located on Wadsworth Street, was completed in 1871 at a cost of $30,000. It had 3 classrooms, 2 on the first floor and 1 on the second. The second floor was later divided into 2 classrooms. It included grades 1 through 8. This building was raised in 1957 to make room for an addition to the high school building on Wadsworth Street.
The bell, bricks, and some of the foundation stones from this stately Union School building were used to erect a monument near its original site. Mrs. Margaret Scott, who taught for 38 years in the Canfield schools, of which 18 were in the Union School, wrote a fitting verse for the plaque which was mounted on the monument located in front of the present Village Middle School.
Canfield High School is a direct descendant of the Northeastern Ohio Normal College. In addition to the 5 college divisions, the high school department was a very important part of the institution. For many years, the high school work was covered in a 3-year period. A 4-year high school curriculum was subsequently established in 1906.
On January 30, 1911, plans were made for the formation of a joint high school board, consisting of 2 members from the township school officials and 3 members from the union board representing the village, to establish a high school for the community under authority of the laws of the state. These plans were consummated on March 7, 1911, when the State Commissioner of Common Schools granted the charter that established Canfield High School. In keeping with the practice which had been established for many years, the same faculty members taught both high school and college classes.
In 1923, the high school was moved to the new building on Wadsworth Street. The high school remained at that site until 1966, when the new C.M. Johnson building was opened on 100 Cardinal Drive. Thereafter, the Wadsworth Street building was used in 1966 to house the Canfield Junior High School and the Village Elementary School. This building was constructed in 6 stages: 1922, 1930, 1939, 1952, 1956, and the final stage in 1957. From 1939 until 1966, this building housed classes from kindergarten through grade 12.
Elman Goodman. I graduated in 1930, and I started the school in the first grade 1918 at the beginning of the World War. At that time, we went in what they called kid wagons, and they were horse-drawn. So we were always thrilled in the wintertime when sledding was good, because the man that was driving then used the bobsled.
We had talent shows when I was in elementary and maybe first, second, third grade. My sister and I sang Home on the Range, and we were accompanied by my cousin Charlie Zerman. And it was the high school, and then parents were invited, so it wasn't just for the school.
I think the biggest thing when we were in grade school was people going into the cloakroom and eating the paste.
I remember that we didn't have trick-or-treat for Halloween, but the whole town turned out to Canfield Middle School, which was Canfield School then, in the auditorium, which was right out here, and a big contest. Mm-hmm. Everybody dressed up in their thing, and adults and from first grade, baby, everybody. There was a different category for everything. It was great.
Chewing gum. Yeah. And if you were caught chewing gum and you hadn't gotten rid of it, like the teacher asked you, it has been known that she has taken it and wrapped it up around both ears and has stood there all day.
Did you?
She started to wind it around your nose, up around, clear over your head and around your ears.
How many sticks of gum did you
Back at the time.
This was my 6th grade classroom, and I had Miss Alice Gould was my teacher, and I got to do a frieze over there in that blackboard of Madame Curie.
Having roller skating parties in the auditorium, the gymnasium, and you wouldn't have missed them for the world because they were great fun, but they let us roller skate.
We would go into the gym too. We had to take our shoes off and walk around because you really respected the floor. Nobody wanted to put any marks on it. And I think that's something that's...
They used to put that canvas over too and put the chairs down.
The large tarp, and then I remember when I first came here as principal in 1987, the double chairs were still here. They were stored under the bleachers. They were wooden chairs and they were attached folding chairs, but they were doubled.
The fact that the school and the community worked so much together. When we had school plays, that was what everybody did that weekend. We had afternoon football games, and everybody was at the football games. Everybody went down afterwards downtown to the fountain. The community really supported everything that the school was doing, and there were families, and I just think there was a wonderful, wonderful feeling of community at that time, which continues today too, but it particularly was during those days.
Something that wasn't mentioned was the fact that
the Ellsworth students came to high school the last 2 years of high school.
You had to dress up like farmers, like was like a farm scene, and you had to wear jeans and like a plaid shirt, and it was a lot of fun. They usually did it right in the cafeteria or the gym, but yeah, it was quite a fun time, because if you had to turn around and ask the guy, you didn't know if he was going to say yes if you guys weren't going together. So it was kind of like, you know, you were on the spot with all your girlfriends.
We had girl reserve dances where the girls got to invite the boys. And I remember we always had the class prom in the old auditorium.
Gym.
And, pardon?
In the gym.
Yeah, the old gym, yeah. And we always decorated the walls and put crepe paper up the ceiling. And I had a reputation of the class artist, so I was always on the committee to decorate that, painting all over the walls on paper, of course.
We would not have gotten in trouble because we have gone home and had just the same thing to face.
Or more problems.
Or more problems without
Right.
any questions asked.
If you got in trouble in school for anything, it would have always been worse at home. I wanted to tell about Howard Lynn. I rode his bus from first grade through high school. But we went down the hill on Tippecanoe Road. We called it Brant Miller's Hill. And if it was really snowy, the high school boys would egg Howard into going through the snowdrifts, which he would do. And then we'd get stuck, and then we'd all have to jump on this side of the bus and then jump on that side of the bus to wiggle it loose.
When I started, there was 6 buses, and they were all private owned. They were not board owned. Each driver had to buy his own school bus. He had a contract with the Board of Education. And when I bought my school bus in 1950, I paid $6,500 for it. Back then, that was a lot of money. In fact, I borrowed every penny of that $6,500.
We didn't have the things that
The
you have
opportunities.
today.
Yeah, we
Right.
didn't have those
The
opportunities.
different activities and the different
You went
opportunities.
to school and you went home.
Right.
And did your homework and did your chores at home, got up and went back to school.
And we also had prayer in school every morning.
Well, that
Wow.
is the other thing, yes, we
And,
did every
Pledge of
morning.
Allegiance.
Yes,
Prayer,
and devotions,
pledge,
and even when I was in high school, we used to have it on the intercom. Every morning, one of the kids would get a chance to give devotions.
We had wonderful teachers, especially at the high school level. We had Loretta Osborne, who was an outstanding English teacher, and Jane Pullen, who was an outstanding mathematics teacher. Very good teacher.
1961.
C.H. Campbell Elementary School opened.
C.H. Campbell's kind of unique because as fast as they built it, it began to fall down. I went to, in fact, the story I tell, I was appointed principal at C.H. Campbell in the spring of 1970, and I went to see her to see what an elementary principal was supposed to do, and he told me 2 things. He said it's primer, not primer, and he taught me the difference between manuscript and
what was the other
what's
one?
the other one? Cursive writing. Then I went to CH and Joyce Brooks taught me how to read and how to deal with the teachers down there, which I never did master. But really the most exciting time was the winter of 1976-77 when there was the natural gas shortage. And we closed C.H. Campbell completely and took every stick of furniture and 450 kids and went to Hilltop for 8 or 9 weeks.
9 weeks.
Leslie would remember that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people didn't like each other by the time of that.
Well, we didn't miss a day of school.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't.
1966.
C.M. Johnson High School opened.
One thing I remember, I was always impressed with how well the students and the faculty handled it at the high school was we had a flat roof at the high school and it constantly leaked. And the teacher would be teaching and the ceiling tile would fall in, a bucket of water, and the kids would keep right on going with the class. And then the time that the roof blew off the gymnasium, we literally had some big football players take the rubber tarps and it would be a wave of water going off the gym floor out into the parking lot. As I remember students asking, it was the week before graduation, and the kids were saying, is graduation going to be inside or outside? And what if it rains? And I said, what's the matter? I remember in '73, I believe our enrollment was close to 1,100 students, and we didn't have the front, which would be where the old media center and the science area was, and we were very crowded. We went to a split day. I think the juniors and seniors came periods 1 through 7, and the underclassmen, freshmen and sophomores came 3 through 9. And it was quite crowded, but later on we were able to build on and made it a very nice facility, very nice.
1974.
Hilltop Elementary School opened.
Actually, when we moved in there, I can remember we didn't have the walls at all. They hadn't been delivered. But really it was really helpful in the fact that all the teachers then became very aware of what was going on next door, so they always had their kids very quiet. So when they got the walls, they really didn't use them at all.
We became very crowded. They were shuttling children up from C.H. Camel because in '66, I believe, is when the high school opened, if that's correct.
Right.
So we became very crowded down at C.H. Camel, and they were shuttling children up here because there was certainly more room. But it just was not a good facility for an elementary school. We had to share the cafeteria, the gym, etc. And we're in the planning stage and passed a bond levy to build Hilltop School. And I think right after that passes, Jim, when you became superintendent.
1974.
Yeah, and fortunate enough to be involved in the planning of the school and overseeing it. Mr. Watkins used to drag me up there in the dead of winter and said, let's go up and look. And I said, it's nothing but a hole in the ground, but we had to go anyway.
Enrollment really fluctuated. When we talked about 1974, we actually maxed out that year. We were about 2,950 kids. And from that point, from 74 up until the 80s, we dropped from 2,900 down to 2,200. We lost about, so that really changed the configuration then of all the schools.
The first one I graduated was Karen, and she went on to Ohio U and graduated, and then went on to Wayne State and got her master's. This is a kid that was partially sighted but had the benefits of an education at Canfield High School. And Ann went on to Kent and was an outstanding English student at Kent, which at Canfield she was average. And Judy went to Cincinnati, and Art went on to VMI, and they seem to have excelled, and all of them will tell you it's because of the basics that they were able to get at Canfield. So we were as a parent, I thought we were very, very fortunate to the Canfield schools, and I know I sound very prejudiced saying it, but they have always, the parents of this school district have always supported us, both in respect and responsibility.
I wanted my children to start school here, not because I was working here. It wasn't until '72 that I worked here. But this has always been a caring community. It's a community of caring teachers, of caring students, of caring parents. I don't know how many times Jim would call and say, we need to go to a funeral home, we need to go to somebody's house. And Bill would say, let's go to a funeral home, somebody's hurt, let's take care of these people. And what really truly amazes me is how good our kids are. and how proud I am of those kids. And you see it every day. You still see it in school. I've put in 5 decades. That's my 5th decade of teaching. People ask me, how are the kids? The kids are great. The kids are great. They are so tolerant of people. It doesn't matter if you have a disability, if you look different, if you're a different color. They're so tolerant of each other, and they help each other.
We had an assembly one year where a speaker from Gamblers Anonymous was to come in. He thought he was coming in to talk to a small group this size, classroom size. He came in, it was the entire student body, and that was at one of the big years. So here are maybe 800 or 900 students, and this poor fellow from Gamblers Anonymous stood up and he froze, and it was
abominable.
Oh, it was so painful. And not one student laughed, not one student, I mean, they felt for this guy. I'm sure not everyone, but they all knew that was not, you don't behave in a negative way. And finally, he spoke about 2 minutes and said, are there any questions? And everyone's looking at each other uncomfortably, and some kid stood up, asked a question, and got this guy off the hook.
When I was here, some of the things we were talking about earlier in terms of changes, I think we were looking at issues at that time in the late 70s and early 80s. I guess one of the biggest issues that Jim and I worked with had to do with special education and the tremendous changes that were taking place in that area of the curriculum at the time I was here. Coupled with that was also a lot of changes in gifted education, which was kind of a new approach at that time. And at the middle school, we were talking about the middle school concept. And Dave Claypool, whom you mentioned earlier, was the principal at that time and had kind of provided us with some leadership in developing middle school. So we were trying to do some of the innovations at that time, but at the same time carry on some of the traditions as mentioned earlier.
Where did this tradition, I don't know what you say, that education has always been very important in this community. Where did that start? And that really started before all of us, somewhere. You know, if you compare our communities to other communities, which we were doing earlier tonight, you know, why is it different? Well, education, I really always felt that education was a priority for the Canfield community. And along with that goes all the caring that you've talked about, you know, the financial support and all those kinds of things. But it goes back into tradition. I can't give the answer why, but I think that was here and it's been carried on through our generation, but that was here before.
Hi, my name is Doug Hiscox. I'm the superintendent of Canfield Local School District, and I'd just like to introduce you to some of the buildings and projects that we've been working on in our district since 1998. We have 4 buildings in our district right now. Hilltop Elementary, which is the newest of the elementary buildings, C.H. Campbell. Our middle school is a 5-8 building, and our high school is a 9-12 building. In 1998, the voters approved a bond issue to expand our district so that we could meet the growing needs of our student population. That expansion project involved an addition to Hilltop Elementary School, which was an addition of 9 classrooms, a computer lab, and an expansion of our cafeteria area because of the number of students that would be housing in that building. It also included an addition and renovation of C.H. Campbell Elementary. The renovation part was due to the fact that it was built on some ground that created shifting in the building, and we needed to go underneath that building and stabilize it, and then added 10 extra rooms to that building also. The third addition piece that we had in the district was at the high school. We added 13 classrooms. We renovated the existing auditorium, and in doing that we were able to create 3 of the 13 classrooms. We expanded our science program, we expanded our technology program, and were able to provide better facilities for our arts program, our performing arts programs.
Dixie. My mother was the principal of the Union School building for a good many years, and she taught there for 38 years. I'm her son.
Hi, I'm Nancy Coker. My husband, Milt Coker. We're on the committee because I graduated in the class of 1949.
And I graduated in the class of 48. And we married one another.
That's right.
What's your position?
We want to thank you for your support and your dedication over the years, without which we could never have successfully completed such an undertaking. It was many of you who began the Canfield tradition of excellence and who have helped that tradition to continue, expand, and prosper over the years. The addition at this high school, which now houses 1,000+ students, added approximately 37,000 square feet of additional educational space. We are currently sitting in an area that was once a courtyard, which was filled in to allow the turning of the auditorium. This change expanded our seating capacity, enlarged the band, choir, and drama facilities, in addition to adding 3 classrooms in the former auditorium entrance.
As superintendent of the Canfield Schools, it is truly exciting to be here this afternoon. Many hours of planning, designing, reconfiguring, and constructing were dedicated to this major building project. This afternoon, we would like to recognize and thank many individuals and companies that were involved in the $13 million project that benefits all students in the Canfield School District.
The first person I will mention is, by far, the hardest worker that I've ever worked with. She is a local historian, and I'd like Pat Wyant to stand at this time. Pat is responsible for 99% of the research. Present the United States flag to high school principal Mrs. Abby Barone. Angela and Allison represent Canfield students in grades kindergarten through 12. We congratulate our students on current and future successes. The members of your Canfield School family are very proud of you. Angela and Allison, please present the flag.
We also had a 4th piece to our addition and renovation project in the district, and that was at the middle school. We replaced windows, we did painting, we did lights, we improved the cafeteria eating area, renovated classrooms, and expanded our science lab areas. And so that was all completed with a bond issue passed by our community in 1998. All the projects were done by March of 2001. So by the time we got to our 200-year anniversary, we have a date now and are able to handle the increased number of students that we have in the district. As we move through the 200-year anniversary of our school district, we hope that all of our community members and alumni that may visit the community again feel free to come into any of our buildings and see what has happened over the years as far as changing the facilities and the programs that we provide. I think as you walk through our buildings, you'll see programs that are unique to our school district and have really blossomed in the last 10 years, such as our Media Center program, our technology program where we have broadcasting now, we have engineering programs at the high school. We have technology labs throughout the district. One of the things we're very proud of in the district as we went through our expansion of the buildings is that we've been able to improve the facilities for our arts program, the visual, the performing arts, and musical arts. All of those areas have been widely improved, and we've seen the programs expand as far as the number of students that are very interested in being part of that. Our graphic arts program has expanded not only from the traditional arts but also into the technical pieces of graphic arts that may be seen used in the advertising industry. And so that piece has also grown in the number of students that have been exposed to those kinds of programs. So we're very proud of what we're able to provide as far as programs in our district to our students because of the facilities that we have, and we welcome you at any time to visit and reminisce a little bit, but maybe as a graduate, what it looked like when you were here, and see what we have today to offer our students. It's always open to the community. It's a very special year for our school district as we celebrate the 200-year anniversary of Canfield Local School District. We are very proud of a lot of the accomplishments that our students and faculty have been able to achieve over the years. And one of the recognitions that we received here recently was, in our state report card, we were one of the schools in Ohio that was identified as being an excellent school district. And that doesn't just come easily, because there are only very few schools in Ohio the first time that this was done that were recognized as being excellent based on standards from the State Department of Education. But it only happens because of the students that we receive from the parents and the community and the faculty that have worked so hard to provide them the opportunities to learn and excel in these areas. So as we celebrate this 200-year anniversary, there are many, many years of excellence that have occurred in the Canfield School District, and we hope that we can continue to provide those kinds of opportunities for students to learn.
I have a proclamation about Arbor Day and the 200 years of Canfield education. Whereas Arbor Day has long been regarded as an occasion for recognizing the value of trees and those who value them, and whereas this program will promote the reforestation and community beautification, and whereas Arbor Day recognizes that trees are a renewable natural resource that enhance our landscapes and protect our watersheds, and whereas Canfield has been awarded a Tree City certification for 20 consecutive years, and whereas the City of Canfield will plant a tree honoring Canfield Village Middle School in conjunction with the 200th year celebration of Canfield schools, and whereas the Parks and Recreation Board have shown outstanding community leadership in coordinating our 20th year as Tree City, now therefore I, Lee E. Fry, Mayor of the City of Canfield, State of Ohio, do hereby declare May 31st, 2001 as Tree City Arbor Day throughout the city, and urge all citizens to renew our pledge to protect, improve, and beautify our natural surroundings, and encourage all to plant trees to enhance and protect the quality of our environment. We have a proclamation that says, whereas the Canfield school system has been in existence for 200 years, and whereas the Canfield school system provides a quality of education second to none in the state of Ohio, and whereas Canfield schools have set the standard for modernization of teaching technology for 2 centuries, and whereas Canfield schools have constantly grown but have made the individual student a first priority, and whereas the Canfield Board of Education and superintendents have taken ownership by employing top-flight teachers for their system, now therefore I, Lee E. Fry, Mayor of the City of Canfield in the state of Ohio, do hereby proclaim the year 2001 as Canfield Education Excellence, and ask all in the community to join in celebrating the bicentennial of Canfield schools. Sir. Thank you very much. For all your extra work and for all you did for this, I'd like to present you a piece of the city of Canfield and say thank you.
Today is Wednesday, February 7th, and we're outside of council chambers. And Mayor Fry just read a proclamation, and these are members of the committee. I will have the 200-year committee, and I will have each member introduce himself. Starting with our historian who wrote our booklet.
My name's Pat Wyant.
I'm Joyce Brooks.
Nancy Cookert. Ruby Cummings, and I went all through Canfield schools. Claire Williams.
I'm Sally Payne.
And I'm Doug Hiscox, Superintendent of Schools, that wants to thank the committee for putting all the time and effort into putting this together this year.
I'm Milt Cockert.
I'm Betsy Casgrain.